But our next speaker is going to talk to us about how we can connect people using tactile textiles and optical fibres. Now, some of this might not sound as practical as some of the other speeches we've had today, but stick around. This is going to be really interesting. So as you can see, some stunning work here, which we'll see in a little bit more later. This girl's work has been on display in the National Museum of Art in Stockholm, among other places. She's won a bunch of awards and scholarships. She is also a proud feminist and a cancer survivor. Please welcome to the stage Malin Bobeck.
Hello there. Today, I want to share with you what I do 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. Or maybe not 9 to 5, but, you know, my job. And in order to do that, I brought my portable office. It's one of those that folds up, uses binary code to create figures and shapes, and has a screen where I will see the result of my work. I brought it with me. Just a second. Here it is. So it folds up just like this. And then you have the binary code right here on the screen. I'm a smart textile artist. I'm a weaver. But you could also say that I'm a programmer. And like I mentioned before, this loom uses binary code to rise up the warp threads up or down, 1 or 0. And this is my code to create the 1s and the 0s and form the fabric that I want. And when this simple motion is used in this big jacquard machine where all the warp threads can go up and down individually, that can create intricate patterns and structures. And these looms are my tool to create fabric by connecting threads, but it's also my tool to connect people to each other. I create interactive art installations where the viewer can become a part of the art itself. And by cooperating, they can start effects in the installation and create something together. Could you please turn down the lights for a second? Thank you. So all of you are actually already a part of my art. This is a fabric woven with optical fibers connected to LEDs and sensors. And when I came in here and you gave me that applause, you triggered the fabric to react to your sound. Do you want to see if you could do it again? Thank you. Now you can turn the lights back on. I used to see myself as a solo player. I was never a sporty kid, but if I had to pick one favorite team sport, it was rugby, because then I could just grab the ball and run and tackle all the people who try to stop me. And this feeling that I was best alone stuck with me. And a couple of years later, when I was in art school, I really enjoyed the solo projects, because then I could decide everything myself and create myself. And the group projects I was involved in seems to matter not as much, because there I had to compromise. But then something changed. And it's a weird coincidence, because it's exactly 4 years ago today, 22nd of April 2013, I got a call saying I have breast cancer. And my world turned upside down. I was 26 years old, and it was not something that was supposed to happen to me. So a long series of operations and chemotherapy and medicines followed, and I was in and out of the hospital for 7 months. It was a very challenging time, but I realized that I wasn't alone. With me, I had my family and my friends, my classmates, and of course, the doctors and nurses. And during this time, I was forced to realize that this is not something I can manage myself. And without the help of other people, I wouldn't be here today. After those challenging 7 months, there was no signs of cancer left in my body. And I had learned that I need other people in my life to survive. I need my family, I need my friends. I need a community around me. I was so grateful that I lived in Sweden, where we all chip into the big tax pile. And sometimes I could even calculate how much I was given from the tax pile. And I wasn't cheap, I can tell you that. So when I started to plan new projects after my illness, I wanted to make bigger things, more technically advanced things. And I started to dream about things that was so grand that I didn't have a clue on how to make them myself. So by dreaming big enough, I forced myself into becoming a team player. By the help of my friends, I knew that I had a greater chance of succeeding. And the challenge I put on myself also reflected in my art. I wanted to create spaces where people could meet and were encouraged to interact both with the art and with each other. And by cooperating, getting the full experience. So the result was this. It's a four-winged structure that reacts to your touch by sending colorful waves up and down the fabric. The textile is woven with optical fibres, conductive yarn that leads electricity, and more traditional textile materials. The fabric is mounted to around 500 individually programmable LED pixels, and they're controlled by a microcomputer connected to sensors that registers touch in the conductive yarn in the fabric. The installation is called Those Who Affected Me, as a tribute to the people around me during my time of illness. It's an abstract self-portrait that reflects others' impact on myself. And after building and showing this installation, I wanted to find new ways of interaction between people. So in my next installation, I explored hugging as a way of interaction. And this one is called Tactile Refuge. It comes from an inspiration of places we can't normally get to, like underwater worlds and outer space. And I created an installation that shifts the perspective and lets you experience new things together with friends in an open and vulnerable way. The piece consists of 6 fabric wings and a hanging centerpiece that is hand-tufted and implanted with LEDs. The centerpiece is registering human touch by changing and react by changing color. And collaborating together will make the reaction even stronger, changing the whole atmosphere of the space. And what I found was that people weren't just hugging the art itself, they were also hugging each other. And both of these projects were made together with my partner Gustav, some of my friends, and my assistants. And without their knowledge, it wouldn't have been possible. One movement that is constantly connecting people through art is Burning Man. And I guess many of you know what Burning Man is, but for those of you who doesn't, It's a participatory festival in the Nevada desert. 70,000 people go there during 1 week to build a city together. And everything that is there, from the biggest dance floor to the smallest art piece, are made and brought there by the participants. And it's a super fascinating and challenging place. And all I can say is go there. But what is really interesting is the culture that is growing around this hyped up event. A culture that is now growing strongly in Stockholm. The idea that you are the creator of your surroundings. That in a world where you let the spectator become a creator and people are dreaming together, great things are emerging. And for me, this has taught me that I can do things too, but not alone. So I take every possible chance to co-create my life with others. And besides my portable office here, I also have a shared studio space. And we are around 30 people with different backgrounds and disciplines that help each other out. And this way, I can have new colleagues, conversations, and new ideas with the help of other people. And we have a pay-what-you-want policy so that everyone can be part on their conditions. And I'm also part of a weaving co-op, or vävstuga in Swedish. And we are 40 women, different ages, most of the members having a lot more life experience than me. And when I get home after a day at the weaving co-op, I get home to a house filled with 5 people that I now call my family. And all of you guys know what I'm saying. It's super trendy now to do things together, no matter if it's co-working, co-living, or co-weaving. And my hopes are that this is here to stay. Right now, I'm dreaming even bigger for my next projects and creating my network of people with different skills. When you have a fabric connected to the internet or to sensors, the possibilities are endless. It can light up, and that's one thing, but it can also show data visualization in the fabric. It can take virtual numbers that can be quite abstract and make it into something that you can experience and touch and interact with. For example, you can create interiors that continue to transform according to who is in the room. Public spaces could have fabrics that not only gives information, but also receives information. How many people have sat in this sofa, or how many people have walked on this carpet? And my dream right now is to create a hotel or company lobby with intelligent textile interiors. Maybe the textile will show a reflection of who is in the room. Maybe it will show the company's sales figures. Or maybe we'll take primary colors from an Instagram account and apply it to the interiors. But I know that I can't do this myself. So therefore, I want to take this opportunity and ask you guys for help. So if this has brought any ideas to you, please come and see me later. The possibilities to share your world with others are all around you if you just start to look for them. Dream bigger than you dare and know that you can reach it with your friends. It's just like weaving. One thread is nice, but you need a whole bunch of them to be able to form a fabric. Thank you.
Thank you, Malin. All of our speakers very efficient this afternoon. So we do have a few minutes for questions if anybody has got one. And first of all, I'm just going to find out if there is roaming mic available. Yes, there is. Brilliant. So yeah, any questions for Malin?
There's one back there.
Yeah? Ah, brilliant. Thank you to our Startup Day volunteers getting some exercise.
Hello, yeah. My question is like the lights and the fabrics and all, is it somewhat related to the emotions the person is feeling, or it's just a colored pattern which actuate on the pressure that you apply or something like that?
Right now, what I'm working mostly with is capacitive sensors, which is similar to the screens you have on your smartphones. Easily you could say that that there's a small electrical current that goes on in the art piece, either the fabric or the sculpture. And the sensor registers how much activity is going on there when someone approaches the electrical current that wants to get out. But it would be interesting to experiment with emotions. We'll see how we can do that. I'll have to find some people who's good with that.
I'm sure there's plenty around in your network. Any more questions? Maybe about this collaborative approach to work? Yes.
We often we often associate the fabric with clothing. Have you done any work regarding clothing and attracting the touch and something with a person's clothing?
I have. I've done a couple of garments, and with the optical fiber fabric, I did a jacket that also connected to an accelerometer, so that it's affected by the people's movement. So definitely, clothing is a good application for it.
I want to ask you a question. You talked a bit about collaboration and working with other people, but what you do is very unique. It's not like there's somebody that's been out there before you and done exactly the same thing, in the way that a lot of people with startups do have people to look at similar companies. So where do you get your inspiration from, and who do you look to get that kind of advice?
My inspiration, it's mostly like nature and the world that we live in. And then to get like technical inspiration is a lot of good friends, and my partner, Gustav, is pretty good with the technical side of it too. That kind of opens up my mind to what is possible, because since I'm a educated textile designer, I'm not really a professional tech person, but since I have my people around me who knows what's possible, then I can open up my mind to explore new ways.
Brilliant, and I think that's a lot of the ethos of what Startup Day has been really about today, not just hearing from coders and VCs, but from all the different kinds of people with different skills that can run their own businesses, and I think you're a really good example of that. So thanks very much for joining us, Malin.
Thank you.
Thank you. If you just step off.